This is Steve Zrike here, Superintendent of Schools in Salem, Massachusetts. Really excited to be with you today to share some updates for the start of this 23-24 school year. And I'm joined by our Deputy Superintendent in the Salem Public Schools, Kate Carbone, who is entering her 11th year in the district. And I want to welcome you to the program here and ask you a little bit about, so folks at home know a little bit, what's your role in the Salem Public Schools?
Well, thank you for having me here today. I'm excited to join you and talk about the opening of the upcoming school year. As you said, my title is the Deputy Superintendent, and in that role, I serve a lot of different functions. One is I partner with members of the teaching and learning team, so the folks who oversee academics, special education, IT, and student supports. I work and partner with you in supporting our principals to make sure they have what they need to be successful in their schools. So those are two of my primary functions.
Great. Well, I know you would agree that the start of the school year is always a really exciting time. And for me, it's always a reminder of a new start, a new beginning. You see everybody with their new haircuts and their new school materials and accessories as we get ready, and the smiles of our young people who have missed being in school all year long. What does it signify for you, the start of the school year?
So I've had lots of first days of school in my career, and it's a really special day. I know I get butterflies every year. You think, after having so many first days of school, it would become old hat, but it never does. Like you said, it's the start of something new and fresh, and there's great anticipation. We've been working really hard throughout the summer with our teams to make sure we're prepared to welcome back our students and our staff. And I know that family members too, parents who are bringing their children to the first day of school, they have butterflies in their stomach, and so do the students. So I think it's an exciting day for all of us.
Yeah, and as much as the summer represents a change of pace for us in the schools, there is nothing like having our young people in school and our staff in schools. The buzz and energy of our schools is why we do the work. So as much as the summer is an opportunity to take a breath, we all much prefer when schools are filled and we have the energy and the enthusiasm, right, of kids learning in school.
Of course, we're in this business because we love to be around young people, and so while we have summer programs, our schools have been fairly quiet for the summer, and that's been a nice break, but it's time to get back into business.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about what people can anticipate for the start of school, and we have a lot to look forward to in this upcoming year. I'm really excited about some new opportunities and steps that we've taken to improve the experience for young people. This year, just to name a few areas that might look different for schools and for children as they come into schools, is we're really excited about the growth of our middle school sports program. We're going to be expanding to add intramurals to not just volleyball, which we started last year, but to basketball and soccer, and inviting all students who want to play, regardless of their grade level and their experience level, to have the opportunity to be active in our schools. So we're really looking forward to that. We've got an expansion of our CTE programming, both at the high school level. We're going to be opening it up to students from Salem Prep and New Liberty more consistently to come over to take advantage of our programming there. And we have a pilot with Beverly High School, where students from Beverly are going to they'll be paying a tuition to be part of our programs here in Salem, have access to our programming as well, and looking at expanding career technical programs to the middle school level as well. We're also, furniture is not, certainly doesn't cure everything in schools, but it is important to have quality furniture for students, and we have new desks and chairs coming to our middle school grades, 7th and 8th grade, at both Saltonstall and Collins. We're really also pleased to share that we're expanding our mental health counseling services through our virtual counseling services, through our partnership with Cartwheel. We've added more seats for young people to take advantage, because we know in this moment in time our young people continue and families continue to struggle with mental health needs. We're really also excited about the expansion of our dual language program at Bentley School. We'll be moving on to 3rd grade, and the program continues to grow with even more demand and enthusiasm from the community as we look at language as an asset, not as a detriment, but rather a superpower. And we're also adding more pre-K seats as we've opened an additional pre-K classroom to accommodate both learners with special needs and students without disabilities as well. So those are just some of the things to look forward to. I wanted to ask you, in your work, Deputy Superintendent Carbone, what are some of the things that our students and families can look forward to, and especially around academics? After all, we are an academic institution.
So great question. I'm not sure that our students necessarily will look forward to this, but I did want to make sure that our parents were aware that we are really doubling down on making sure that we institute consistency across our schools relative to homework. It's something that we got a little lax about over, the pandemic for obvious reasons. But homework and building the muscle to do homework and be disciplined about that is really, we believe, a habit that will help us cultivate independent learners, which is something that we're interested in doing. So students as well as families can expect regular homework and homework that they're that is scaffolded in terms of time. We don't want our youngest students, spending hours at night. So the policy does, or it's not really a policy, but the guidance on homework does afford for, what's reasonable at the younger grades and then up through the secondary schools. So I would alert families to be expecting regular homework and to be working with their students to complete that. Another thing that we're working hard on this year too is making sure our students get feedback, not only on their homework but on their classwork at regular intervals. So we want to encourage our families to be looking in Aspen in the family portal where they can see evidence of their students' regular progress. And being informed as a family member is really helpful when interacting with your student at home. And we also believe that it's really important for our students to be getting regular feedback on how they're progressing toward goals in school. So those are two big things. I think something that students can look forward to that they've asked for a lot is more field trips. And so we are, attentive to that and working with our instructional coaches to be working with teachers to find opportunities for students to connect their learning to our local environment. So we'll be making sure that we have regular feedbacks that are connected to our curriculum. I wanted to build off of your point around after-school programs. Mm-hmm. So at the middle school level, definitely adding intramurals, but also focusing on clubs for students who mm-hmm. aren't, maybe inclined to, lean toward the athletics, but more interested in a club opportunity after school. We also have lots of programming at our elementary schools. So we are adding another 21st century site at Witchcraft, and we have others in our district. I would encourage family members to connect with the City Connects coordinator at their school if they're interested in either before or after school programming at the elementary level. And we also have after school programming for our pre-K students, which is really exciting. Lots of partners that provide, exciting, athletics and art programs for our pre-K students.
Great. No, that's really some important new developments in the experience that our young people are going to have and families are going to have in our schools. I did want to ask you. We have a number of every year we bring on new staff, new teachers, new administrators, and I know your team does an immense amount of work in preparing folks for the transition to come into the Salem Public Schools. In some cases, it's their first experience teaching as well. Can you talk a little bit about the preparation and the support that we provide staff that are new to the Salem Public Schools?
Yeah, we think it's very important to have open arms and really be deliberate about how we onboard our new educators. I remember when I first became a teacher, I got the keys to the room and the textbook, and that was really the last I saw of support. And that's not the way to bring people into an organization and sort of onboard them to our vision and mission. And so we have, we started small, and now I really think we have a really robust and thoughtful onboarding process. So we last week had our new Teacher Institute where we welcomed 90 new educators. So not just teachers, any educator who's new to the district, both experienced and inexperienced. And we take them through a 4-day institute orientation where they learn about sort of our protocols and our processes. We introduce them to our curriculum, which is really important, so that they show up to school knowing what they're going to teach, and they feel really comfortable with the materials and so forth. So we had 4 wonderful days. They spend 1 day in their schools with their principals. They're assigned a mentor who will not only, where they introduced to, but will work with throughout the course of the year to help them sort of navigate the ins and outs of being an educator in Salem.
Great. No, I think I'm proud to be part of a district that spends and invests so much time in our new people, and they're also going to get coaching in their as they assume the teaching roles and their new roles in the schools, that there's an infrastructure for support that way as well.
Right. So the support for the new hires doesn't end with the 4 days. We have, as you said, coaches who work with them, and also we make sure that each new educator has a mentor.
Great. I did want to take a moment to address a question that I get a lot, or I've gotten a lot this summer, is what's the deal with cell phones in schools? And there's a lot of conversation nationally and across the state about that. And last year we introduced the Yonder pouches at the middle school level and at New Liberty, and Saltonstall Collins and New Liberty. And we're expanding this year to include the high school. Our policy hasn't changed. Although I think our enforcements and our supports for young people have changed. We expect phones to be off and away in schools, and we think that's really important in order to facilitate dialogue between young people, engage in the content. Students spend a lot of time outside of school on devices, and that's part of what being a young person is today, except that we want school to be a place where they can practice levels of engagement, the socialization that we think is necessary to be successful in the world of work and higher education. And so we want to minimize the distraction. The pouches, which lock as students come into the building, their phones get put in the pouches, they get magnetized and locked, and students can hold on to them for the day with them. It doesn't go to someone else. And then at the end of the day, they can open their pouches. We're gonna try that also at Salem High School as a pilot, and the expectation is it's a way to support our young people to resist that temptation of having the phone be out, and so. It's very clear that the guidelines are that their phones need to be off and away, and students should and can use the pouches to help them to do that. And we appreciate the support of our families and partnership. We do think that this is in the best interest of our young people, and ensuring school becomes a place of achievement and a focus on the type of learning, both social, emotional, and academic learning that we want for all our kids. I would also just point out that if families need to reach their young people, they can do it just the way that we received information or calls from home is through the main office at the school. And students will also have access to be able to contact home if they absolutely need to during the school day, to use the office at the school as well, or phones that are available in classrooms at our schools. So we appreciate people's support as we try to get our schools focused on the business that we do, which is teaching and learning every day. Another question we get, Ms. Carbone, is about the transition to the start of the school year. And it is a a change for young people when they've had the summer off. They've maybe been in some of our summer programs, but the schedule's different, and all of a sudden you're adjusting back to a full school day, and the pace is different. What can parents do to help ease the transition to the start of the school year?
Yeah, another great question. Top of mind comes to make sure that our young people get a good night's sleep, and that they get, I know the recommendation often is 8 hours of consecutive sleep. Leads to people feeling good and on top of their game. So I think that's true for our young people as well. So getting students and our young folks back into the habits of going to bed at a reasonable amount of time, shutting off the devices, and then waking up early. We do offer breakfast in our schools, and so I would encourage your children, have you encourage your children to, avail themselves of the meals that we do provide in school. I would emphasize attendance too, and getting into a routine around coming to school every day. Yes, we've had some limits put on us relative to COVID and whatnot, but hopefully we're sort of on the other side of that, and we can kind of push ourselves a little bit to come to school. And if we're eating well and sleeping and getting some good exercise, I think it's important that kids have some physical time after school. During school is really important as well. So I think those are some of the important things. Attendance and being at school on time. Those kinds of things, I think, it's hard to catch up once you fall behind. So it's good to get into some good habits at the beginning of the year. It helps with the transition, and then I think it makes for a really, productive year.
Yeah, and that routine, I know in my household, those routines are so important to maintain a healthy balance, and it is a little tricky to get back in the routine, but our children are used to it and resilient, and they look forward to being back to having structure and predictability that schools can provide for them. So, the other question that I get is around how to stay informed throughout the year. There's a lot that happens during the school year, and people like their information in different ways. So I just want to highlight some ways that our families can get information. We do send quite a bit. We send a lot via Parent Square. You can sign up for the Parent Square app. That your family engagement facilitator at each individual school can assist you in getting, or the clerk at the school, the secretary at the school can help as well, so that you can receive regular notifications both from the school and from the district. I host a Facebook Live every 2 weeks in English and Spanish that will provide information as necessary. It gives an opportunity for people to ask questions as well. Of the district. We do share, or of me during those sessions, we do share quite a bit of information on social media, Facebook, Instagram, I guess now not Twitter, but X. And, and our website is full of information about things that are happening in schools, our policies, our procedures and guidelines. And then our school committee meetings are another place to get information. Those are broadcast twice a month on Monday evenings. And that's an opportunity to, if you want to offer public comment, also hear information about timely updates throughout the year, and to see our governing board weigh in on the different things, the initiatives and work of ours as a district. We're really excited that we'll be releasing a new strategic plan to guide our work for the upcoming 3 years. Be on the lookout for that. It'll help direct and guide us and inform you as to the work that we are going to be focused on as we come out of post-COVID, the post-COVID recovery work that we need to do, and we're really excited about rolling out that plan. As we close today, I want to thank you for being part of our of this segment, and appreciate all the work you do for the Salem Public Schools. And I don't know if you want to impart some words of encouragement as we launch into the new year.
Yeah. I would just say we're ready to go. We hope you're ready to go too. I think the year promises to be a really exciting one for all of our students and our staff, and so we're waiting here for you. Can't wait.
Yeah, I couldn't say that better. I would also encourage people to take a look at our back to school video that will be dropping soon before the first day of school. Hopefully that'll get you hyped up for everybody hyped up for an awesome school year. I think we feel very optimistic for the 23-24 school year. We've got a great set of educators working across our buildings on behalf of our kids, and it's a good time to be a witch. It's a good time to be in Salem. We look forward to the year ahead. And please tune in to future segments as we try to update you on relevant and pertinent information about the Salem Public Schools. If you have suggestions for topics, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or to SATV so that we can give you the information you need and want about our schools. Thank you very much.